video, we are going to make this cute and fuzzy bunny basket out of a tissue box. It's great for collecting eggs hidden by the Easter Bunny. So let's begin by reviewing the supplies and tools we'll need. A tissue box, paper, pencil, scissors, felt, safety pins, foam sheets, glue, a ruler, craft knife, cotton cord, pliers, hot glue gun, and cotton balls. Step 1. Trace box and cut felt. Start by tracing the bottom of your tissue box onto a piece of paper. I like to line up the edges of the box to one corner. When done, cut along the lines to create a template. Now take the paper template and line it up to the corner of a sheet of felt. Pin it in place with a safety pin and then cut the felt using the template as a guide. Remember to err on the side of more felt because you can always trim the excess later. You're also going to repeat this process so that you have a piece of felt for both the bottom and top of your box. Remember not to throw away the extra because you will need it later. Step 2. Glue top and bottom. Flip the box upside down and apply a thin and even coat of glue around the edges and in the middle. You'll want to apply enough glue so that it sticks, but not so much that it starts to bleed through the felt. Now take one of your cutouts and lay it onto the glue. Make sure it's in the correct orientation if your tissue box isn't a perfect square. Press gently and smooth it out. It's okay if some of it hangs over the edges. Next, flip the box back over so we can do the top. But before applying any glue, fold the felt in half and cut a small slit in the middle. Repeat this in the other direction so that you have a letter X cut out. Add glue to the top and make sure to get the edges of the opening really well. Lay your felt down and then set aside to dry. Step 3. Trim. After a few minutes, your glue should be dry so you can trim the excess felt. I like to lay the box down on the opposite side I'm trimming and then carefully use the side of the box as a guide for my scissors. Once done, flip back to the top and do the same. Now we are going to trim the opening. Carefully widen the slits we made earlier until you reach the very edges of the opening. If you're having trouble seeing it, you can feel the edge with the tip of your finger. Then trim each quadrant slowly, making little snips. It's important to be patient during this step. Step 4. Glue and trim sides. Take a fresh piece of felt and size it up against the box. I'm using two 9" by 12" sheets that will overlap each other on the sides. Now squeeze out a layer of glue on one of the sides that doesn't have flaps and lay your felt down so that the top edge lines up neatly with the top of the box. Note that there will be several inches of overhang on the bottom. Also try to keep it centered so an equal length will be applied to each side. Press gently and smooth down. After that piece has had a minute to dry in place, take your scissors and trim off the edges. Then repeat the steps on the other side with your last full piece of felt. Be careful not to get glue on the outsides where the two layers overlap. When ready, trim the edges neatly. Step 5. Add handles. Now we are going to add a set of cotton cord handles. Take your craft knife and carefully cut a slit through the felt and box at each corner at the top of the box. We want to be about a 1/4 inch away from the actual corner of the box. Wiggle your knife a little to loosen the slits. Next, unspool 4 feet of cotton cord. I like to wrap it around my ruler twice. Then find the center point and cut it in half so that you have two 2-foot pieces. Using a pair of needle-nosed pliers, feed one end into a slit and pull it through the opening a little. Then feed the other end into the slit that's at the top of the oval going long ways. We want the handles to hang over the sides of our bunny. Repeat these steps with the other cord until you have 4 ends coming out the opening. Gently lift the handles up to make sure they are the same length and adjust as needed. Then double knot each pair of cord and pull tight. Trim any frayed edges and center the knots in the box. Step 6. Add ears. To make the ears, we need to start with another paper template. Take a piece of paper and fold it in half. Line it up against your ruler and draw half of a bunny ear that's about 2 3/4 inches long. Then cut along your line with a pair of scissors. When you unfold it, you'll have a nice bunny ear shape. Now we are going to place our template onto a white sheet of foam and lightly outline it with a pencil, while holding it in place with our finger. Cut the foam out and repeat so that you have 2 ears, but don't throw the template away. Squeeze glue onto one side of the foam ears and lay it onto some of the felt we saved from earlier. Make sure to leave enough space between them. After they've dried for a minute, trim the felt around, leaving about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch border. Now add glue to the other side and lay the ears onto another layer of felt. When dry, trim so that the felt matches up. Now take your ear template and fold it back in half. Draw a smaller shape inside and cut it out. This is going to be the inside of our ears. Lay and trace it onto some pink foam twice and cut the outlines out. Glue these pieces down and then plug in your hot glue gun. Before we glue the ears onto the box, we are going to close up the seams of our ears. So add a little bit of hot glue between the felt on the foam. Wait a few seconds for it to cool down before pressing the felt together. It's important that you don't accidentally burn yourself with the glue. Don't add too much, and don't touch it directly with your fingers. When done, position the ears onto the front of the box where you want them and glue them on. You'll want to hold them in place for a few moments while the glue hardens. And remember, if you don't have or don't feel comfortable using a hot glue gun, you can do these steps with regular glue. They'll just take longer to dry in place. Step 7. Add face and tail. Finally, we are going to add a face to our bunny basket. Take your black foam and cut a very thin strip that's a little less than 1/8 of an inch thick. Then from that strip, cut 2 1.5 inch long pieces. These will be our eyes. Gently bend the strips in half to make them into a U shape and position them where you want, about halfway down the box. Next, take your glue and make a swoop for the left eye, and then hold the foam in place for about 30 seconds until it dries. Repeat this step on the right. Then cut a little triangle from the pink foam and glue it in place a little below the eyes, making sure that it's centered on the box. Then finish it off with a cute set of bunny teeth by cutting a square of white foam. I like to take my craft knife and gently score down the middle so it can make 2 front teeth. Then glue. Our very last step is to add a cotton ball tail with either a hot glue gun like I am here or with regular glue. And that's how you make a tissue box bunny basket. This basket will snugly hold about 12 eggs. Mix it up by changing the color of your felt to create bunnies of any color. You can even modify the design to make a chick or sheep. If you have an Instagram or Twitter, please send me pics of your creations. I'd love to see your work.